So tell me about. I mean, my knowledge of golf is very minimal. I attended, but it's actually also pretty meaningful. The person who introduced me to golf in St. Kitts was Malcolm Warner.
Warner.
Is it Warner is his
Oh,
last name?
Calendar.
Calendar.
Calendar,
Calendar.
yes.
Malcolm Calendar. Yes, Ina Calendar. Right. Forgive me. Oh, Lord, Uncle Malcolm. In fact, the clubs, the set of clubs that I have now,
Right.
is some clubs that he put together for me.
Really?
Yes. And I have not gotten rid of those things. I've
Right.
still
Yeah.
kept them around.
Don't do that. Don't get rid of it. Yeah.
But yeah, he's the one that, and I did do at least 3 sessions with him, just trying
Nice.
to hit
Okay.
some balls on the
Okay.
range and stuff like that. And he
Okay.
would teach me about posture and how to hold the clubs and this kind of thing. And obviously, my swing back then is probably
It's
just
probably
as
a
bad.
bit. Oh, I was going to say if it
is
was
now.
Okay.
But yeah, that was my introduction to golf. There was also a family friend at the time, Vachelle Byron.
Yeah,
She was also she was a prodigy
Avid.
at the time. And I would hear these stories, but I didn't necessarily go on the golf course with
Okay.
her, but I was seeing her winning one or two. So the golf bag that I have is a
Right.
Nike golf bag that
From
she
Vachelle.
won in a
Wow.
tournament. So, I've always been thereabouts with golf.
Yeah, well,
But tell me about you. How did you get into golf, and how did it become such a passion of yours?
Okay. Well, for me, I'm a product of the young Tiger Woods era.
Okay.
As was Vachel, we'd have persons like Richard Berridge, Anthony Vieira.
Oh, I didn't even know Richard.
Yes, Richard was actually represented St. Kitts on a few occasions.
Excellent. Okay.
Throughout the Caribbean.
I'll hold him on now.
Yeah.
I
I think Richard's handicap right now he's a single digit handicap if he's still playing right now. Yeah, Richard is really good.
Okay.
Is really good. Yeah. And there were a few others. So Tiger Woods comes on the scene, gets young people interested. I bit the bug.
Yes.
I can recall being in my yard in Harborview at the time, I think. This would have been back in 94, 95. Swinging a stick because this is something that I see on TV. And then my youngest sister, came home from school one day and told our parents that she'd signed me up apparently
Brilliant.
for this golf camp. So I'm like, well, golf camp you're talking about, So all three of us ended up going, me and both of my sisters. And at that camp, that's where we got our introduction to golf. I would have known Richard and Anthony and stuff like that from before. Gotten engaged with them.
Who was the camp instructors in those days?
Funny enough, Mr. Calendar was one of the
Nice.
persons that introduced me to the game. Ezekiel Percival, Antonio Phillip, and Trevor Levine, who was residing in St. Kitts
At the time.
Yeah. So that's 1995, which is now 26 years later.
Beyond,
Which is crazy just to say. But the bug bit me then, and I've never...
Hasn't left.
Yeah.
What was the culture like back then? Because you're talking about a golf camp, and I do remember Uncle Malcolm being very, very passionate about it.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
He would. I mean, I as I said, for us, is either you get bit by the bug, and coming from Trinidad, we were more
That's
football,
right.
and even though Tiger was a major thing, I maybe if he was around, I would have been a lot more into it because. Especially when I started, he was the one that kept me motivated for a little while, and I felt like I was growing.
Apart.
But what was the culture like then in terms of the golfing culture in St. Kitts? Because I get the impression it was a little bit more active, to use lack of a better word.
I would say that at the time when golf came on the scene, the cell phones didn't exist.
Right.
So for youths, there was this desire to be out there trying something new. At that point, I had already played cricket in high school. I had played football in primary school.
Yes.
I'd won tennis tournaments as a junior.
Excellent.
I'd run in primary school, run in high school, and stuff like that. So I was already into sports. and I just like, I just love sports.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Caribbean fellas.
naturally,
You grew up with it.
exactly,
yes.
naturally. So golf, after going there and like trying it out, I'm like, okay, this is really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
there are persons who would take up the game and be like, this is hard, I ain't doing it again. And then there are others who are going to go, this is hard, but it will not master me.
You're right.
And that's the nature of the individual I am. That's the type of person I am. So, but to answer your question about the culture, it was competitive for juniors.
Right.
There were opportunities for juniors to participate in regional tournaments.
Right.
And so you didn't go there, get involved, and just be going over there for the sake of it. You're going over there for a purpose, and the purpose is to compete against juniors, other juniors, and then potentially make a local team and regional team to represent the OECS in what was called the Eastern Caribbean Junior Championships, amateur championships. So you made mention of Trinidad before. The golf contingent in Trinidad is huge. It's huge in Antigua presently. St. Lucia, you had folks from Turks and Caicos, Cayman Islands, Puerto Rico, Jamaica. And this is something that happens every year, or that has been happening every year up until COVID, obviously. But in recent years, it's kind of fallen off because the strength of the junior program had kind of fallen off as well. And that's why I made mention of cell phones earlier, because, it just kind of seems like, to get a kid engaged in golf, now might not be as easy as it might have been all those years ago.
What then do you do? Because the only hope for the future is to try and see if you can recreate the type of environment that would make it attractive.
Definitely.
What then do you do?
I think one of the key things that often gets overlooked is scholarship opportunities.
Right.
There are a vast amount of opportunities for persons to get scholarships to different universities stateside, maybe even in Europe, as they have golf
But I get the
schools
impression, though, that for golf it becomes a little bit more difficult because of the amount of competition in terms of other persons trying to get in.
To me, I've not been one to go through that avenue. However, if someone took the opportunity, so there's one junior right now who already has, this would have been in 2019, he went to Barbados. He went to Barbados, won a tournament in Barbados, his first tournament, right? And then because he won that tournament, he got exempted off free entry into 2 tournaments in Florida.
Oh, wow.
Right? Which the club, our local club, would have sponsored.
That would have been the what's the name of the club? The
Royal St Kitts Golf Club.
Royal St Kitts Golf Club.
Yeah.
I think I would have seen, if not met, the young man's name.
Clayton.
Yes.
Harridale. Yeah.
Yes, Harridale. Yes. Apparently, he is quite.
Yeah,
talented.
he's improved even since then.
Okay, where is he's still on? He's on island
yes,
now.
Yeah.
So how is he practicing in the midst of all that's happening?
When he played with, okay, so the course as it is right now, you can go over there and walk.
Right.
However, there are no holes and no tee markers down, so we kind of have to just
wing it almost.
Exactly.
Right.
But meaningful tournaments presently, if you wanted to have one, you have to go to Nevis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
One was held there as recently. Well, there's a division that golfs. His birthday was last week, and he had a fun tournament. For a thing. But that's the only place that we can go right now to sort of play any meaningful tournaments.
So then let's get back to golf now on St. Kitts. I know we've met at least once or twice, and you explained to me some challenges. Where are the challenges now? Because it seems almost that among all the other sports in St. Kitts, golf is the one that has been most severely impacted.
Yeah.
Give us the dark side of the COVID reaction.
I think I'll give you the gray side.
The gray
Instead
side,
of the
okay.
dark suggests black, which is like
Okay,
nothingness.
yes,
Gray is like maybe a little mixture.
There's opportunity
Yeah,
still.
right.
Right.
So COVID, as you mentioned, has hit the club itself very hard. We are having our AGM tomorrow, actually.
Right. Good.
Right. But such as what a typical year would be, where we have monthly medal tournaments, where we have different fundraising tournaments, which you would be privy to, because I think you are Rotarian, correct?
Well, I was up to recently. I was.
Right. So you would have participated in fun tournaments and stuff like that.
At least
They
two
would
of
have
them.
acted
Correct, yes.
as a means of income generation, and not income generation because we're a non-profit organization, but as a means to raise funds so that we can assist persons, contribute to different groups, and so on. We've not been able to do any of that.
Right.
The only type of fundraising that we would have done last year was when COVID would have sort of taken us by storm, if I could put it that way. We took measures because persons that allow us or help us play golf, the staff members at the club, and what's not, were laid off, obviously, bread being taken from them as a result. And so what we did was take the initiative and actually do some fundraising amongst the members, and would purchase food vouchers and that type of thing, because that's what
The culture, that's the nature of the club.
the culture of the club. Exactly. We are generally a very good body of people who love the game of golf, but also love to help people
Contribute and give back.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So, is it that COVID? Because I could see how, and forgive me if I'm not overthinking, I could see where there are opportunities for golf to be able to be played even within a COVID environment,
Of course.
given the limited amount of contact
Of course.
that you would have with persons throughout 18 holes. So explain to me what's at the root of the issue in
No
terms
problem.
of...
Well, as things stands right now, the Marriott golf course
Right.
is closed.
Okay.
Right. The last information that I personally would have had would be that they're in the process of awaiting the clubhouse building itself to be checked, and making sure that all of the necessary protocols are in place. So that they can allow the club to be opened.
Right.
To my knowledge, that would have been done maybe October, November.
Right.
But no action we're in February now, but nothing has been set in stone. The challenge that I, again, personally have with that is that when I consider the fact that I have played golf in Nevis at Four Seasons on their golf course, I just don't see how Four Seasons is organized to the extent where they can earn revenue and income from persons that reside in St. Kitts, who pay money to catch a boat, pay to go on a golf course, pay to buy food, pay to buy drinks. I don't understand how, as a business, persons can allow local people to be out of an opportunity to earn money, local people out of the opportunity to participate in the sport that they love, and for a business entity to apparently openly just not be concerned or overly concerned about, let's try to make money this way since we can't make money this way.
No, I think maybe from a business perspective, they're probably looking at it from the perspective of at this point in time, any revenues earned there is a drop in the bucket to the overall
This to the overall picture. Some might say that. However, one could argue, well, one can ask the questions. Okay, we typically operate with a staff of 6, which is factual. What could we do if we operate with a staff of 2?
Right.
Or 3?
Okay.
The club itself would have run rough figures because our responsibility to our members who pay every year to be a member of the club,
Right.
and in some instances pay the Marriott green fees to be able to play golf on the golf course yearly, which, and to add more, persons last year would have paid already
Right.
and not been able to redeem any types of benefits
Because
from
of-
making this type of payment.
Right.
Right? So, in addition to that, you have a facility that has been left, I would appear that it would have been left to sort of just run down. So it's just a we, again, as someone standing on the outside looking in, who has some sort of insider knowledge to the working of things, because, like I said, the club organizes tournaments. That's one of the major income generators. I mean, I just can't see how, if we host 25 tournaments a year and Marriott has the opportunity to make $100 per person if we have 30 people, 25 people playing every year, how can you not find a system that works?
Now, question. So there is a club. Is this club one of the only clubs in St. Kitts, or are there other clubs, and is there like an overarching golfing association?
Okay. So it is the only golfing club in the federation. Right?
Well,
and
so Nevis doesn't have a
no,
club?
they do not have a club.
Okay.
It's just the Four Seasons. Four Seasons has a golf course.
Right.
To my knowledge, there's no formal or formulated club element
To that
Correct.
usage. That's guests and paying.
Correct.
Paying guests.
I suppose, though, that persons that might have special royalties in Four Seasons or that are Four Seasons members, I don't know what the
There must be
proper
some
term is.
structure
Correct.
to that
Yeah.
usage.
Right.
Correct.
But to my knowledge, the Royal St. Kitts Golf Club is the only club that exists in the federation.
So they act almost as a decision-making body.
That's who
for all
represents
things
golf in the federation.
What is their how should I put it? What is their strength, for the lack of a better expression? What can they do?
We can meet. We can host tournaments. We can report to the Figure Development Corporation, because
Right.
that is the entity that we're connected to.
Right. But who manages the course itself? Figure
Development Corporation.
No, obviously that comes at a cost.
Yes.
The challenge is part of the challenge is that the course itself has gone, for a period at least, had gone unmanaged.
Yes.
And I would assume that is because of the cost that it would have entailed to manage it.
So I think that some persons that might be unaware might draw that conclusion.
Right.
However, again, it's very difficult to not make comparisons to Four Seasons, because Four Seasons is the terrain on that golf course is significantly more challenging to navigate than St. Kitts.
Okay.
It's much more undulating. I don't know if you've ever been on it or driven.
Yes, I've been.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But if you look at the condition of the course at Four Seasons and you get the information about how their staff presently, because of COVID, and how many people are actively working to maintain the course, it doesn't add up.
As to why St. Kitts can't replicate.
What is the challenge with, again, if you have, let's say there's an expert golf course manager that
Right.
works at Four Seasons. Four Seasons is less than 20 miles away from St. Kitts.
Right.
Everybody has a phone.
Right.
Everybody that works in these hotel entities has emails. If you're a professional and you care about the maintenance and management of a facility that you, if your name is Mr. X, whatever your name is, are responsible for and being paid for to take care of, how do you not make a phone call to the closest entity and say, dude, I love what you're doing over here. Can you help me?
Please. What would be, at least find out what would be costs, if any.
And that's what I'm saying. How is it that we have an entity that can? I understand that Four Seasons and Marriott are two totally different
Right.
businesses. I understand that the management for Four Seasons is different from the management for
Marriott.
from Marriott. However, or let me not say however, and I think in that is where the root of the issue is. Because you have management in Nevis that cares about their facility.
Okay.
But then you're left to question, does the management at the Marriott care about their facility? And one can go as far as to even question, do they care about not just the golf course, but the hotel itself?
Well, the thing is that would be left up to, I dare not try to envisage what is going through their thinking process. What I was trying to establish is, in the alternative, let's assume that they remain at a stalemate in terms of what they want to do with the course.
Right.
What alternative courses of action can be taken in order to ensure that there is a lifeline almost thrown out to the golfing community here? Because, as you said, it's a very good course, and even though our tourism product isn't going to be where it's supposed to be in the near future, it still offers you something locally and at the Marriott and beyond the Marriott, as far as I'm concerned. So is there a methodology by which you could, there's some assistance, if it is, as I said, if it is financial, if it is technical, can the governing body of the club utilize its connections and resources to sort of wrangle overall management of the course up until a period as of which Marriott would be willing to renew?
I think that's what all of us as golfers would like to happen.
Right.
However, as things stand right now, there might be certain realities that the general public is not privy to.
Okay.
That I am not privy to.
Expected.
I am privy to a lot of information because there is information that is accessible by the public.
Right.
However, I think that somewhere one can conclude, based on the course of action that is taking place, it's because it's difficult to wrap your mind around how an entity can be out of operation for almost a year, right? When, like I said, in Nevis and throughout the rest of the entire Caribbean, it's been established that golf is a game where you can easily practice social distancing.
More so than any other
than
sport.
any other sport, exactly. If you want to force everybody to walk, no problem, and this type of thing. So it's just, in terms of what else can be done, from where I sit, is really difficult to say. Save finding someone that has, I don't know what the cost would be, $50 million. I don't know, I'm calling random numbers now. But to get an investor that would say, hey, I'm going to pump whatever needs to get pumped into this. I'm going to take over whatever. I'm going to save this deal. And I'm going to see to it that golf in St Kitts is safe.
Well, that's a long shot there. That's a
correct. I mean, the
whole Hail Mary.
The other hope, though, is that the persons that step in to perform that task is the government.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But
so, and they would be doing so through the Frigate Bay
Development Corporation. Correct.
Are there moves then maybe to partner with, as a club, to partner with the Frigate Bay Development Corporation? As I said, even if it is just to get the 6 or so employees back out to work, come up with a strategy, whether it involves getting the donors, whether it involves hosting little tournaments and things so as to raise additional revenues. What's the what's I mean, even in terms of just having your restaurant open, I'm assuming where you could generate, golfers like to have the drinks and everything else.
It's a must. Yeah.
So you're gonna make money there, even if it is just money to keep the doors open, as it were, just the lights burning and the staff employed, up until you get a situation where persons are a lot more comfortable with
Correct.
golfing, and it starts to generate the type of energy that would bring further revenues. I don't know if that's in discussion, but what's the plausibility of something like that happening?
I mean, I think without seeing what the actual numbers are, it would be very hard to come to a conclusion in terms of making a sensible business decision.
Right?
However, you as a layperson, if I could say it that way, just highlighted some of the what would appear to be no-brainer things
Right.
that can be done, because from when the golf course was opened, the clubhouse was never truly utilized as a place to go to eat food.
Right.
Never truly utilized as a place to go on a Friday afternoon to buy drinks.
Right.
Never utilized as a place to go to play dominoes.
Right.
Never utilized as a place to go to play drafts. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And if with talking business, then there are strategies that people can employ to make money.
And there's an outdoor portion
Of
to the
course,
clubhouse.
it's a huge space.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There are sales that you can then now market on a web page to say, okay, we have a special sale here today. If you like your moisture wicking polo shirts from Nike or whatever, I'm saying there are strategies that you have to be able to employ that can earn you revenue, if that's what the concern is. Because I think, if my understanding is correct, that is what the major concern is with the golf course. It's been pitched
Right.
to persons. I don't know that the numbers have been looked at in detail, that it drains revenue and it does not generate enough revenue, right? So here it is, when tourism season is on, persons are coming to hotels. The main thing that you would expect persons the main thing that you would expect the golf course to, the main time, that you would expect the golf course to sort of earn the major revenue and income, is not doing what it's supposed to do. But then us as golfers understand, or the people that are on the executive understand, that even though you might have 100 people come to St. Kitts to play golf, they don't spend money at the golf course alone.
No.
There's no person that's going to come here and
Just
eat
at
in
the
their
golf course.
room
No.
every night.
No.
They're going to go on the Strip. They're going to be on Zenway Boulevard. They're going to go to the Southeast Peninsula, and they're going to spend their money on food. They're going to pay taxi drivers to go from the hotel to the golf course, from there over to the Strip. And that is the strategy that you have to utilize in order to make money. In addition to that, the part that people don't think about is, okay, how much has real estate in the Frigga Bay area gone up since the golf course was rejuvenated?
Oh boy, yeah, that's a whole other discussion by itself.
Right?
Yeah.
And these are, again, it's if persons think about these strategies, again, Four Seasons. How many $1 million properties are on Four Seasons, under Four Seasons' umbrella? You understand what I'm saying? So if the strategy that is employed for this thing to make money is really looked at in detail, why is it whenever a new major resort does a development in some other country, why is a golf course
Always
factored
included.
in? Exactly.
Always included. Now, let me throw this other one. Is the bar and restaurant, they're independently who manages that? Is it the Marriott?
Marriott, correct.
Okay. And that's a contracted situation, or is it that they own the facility?
They own the facility. If my understanding is correct, they own the facility.
Now, at this point in time, they could be reluctant, let's say, to hire persons to run the bar. Is it then feasible then to put together some sort of a proposal for somebody to run the bar and restaurant independently?
Ding ding, we've done that.
And that's been rejected outright.
I don't want to use the word rejected. I would say that we've not had meaningful feedback on a way to make that happen. That's the way I would like to answer.
Okay. Okay, because I could see the challenges from a hotel perspective.
Of course.
They wouldn't necessarily want independent entities to be running their kitchens.
Right.
But if it is that you don't have a short-term, short to medium-term plan
Right.
for the facility, then rent it out and generate some some loose revenue. I mean, is something you unless of course it's so very expensive to keep the facility itself
running and open.
Yeah,
But then you factor that into your rent.
and see where that goes, because I can still see persons who are on island doing whatever it takes to ensure that it stays open once it reopens.
Exactly. And this is since I don't want to be inaccurate, the executive of the club has met with the necessary powers that be to try and see if we can lobby, strategize, see whatever we can come up with that's happened, but it's led to nowhere at this point. Like I said, the last point that we were at is we're waiting for whatever COVID protocols to be in place. So it's left to be seen if we get a call in 2 weeks' time and it said, okay, as of March 1st, the clubhouse is going to be available to open. We'll just have to wait and see if that date is stuck to or held to.
No, when in saying that, then is it that Marriott is committed then to open it once they've been given the clearance by the necessary authorities?
It is my understanding that that is what the intention is.
Because getting that type of approval is not it's not a difficult task at all.
Not at all.
Having gone through the process myself personally, that I know that is a matter of attending a few sessions and this.
Well, one would assume that an entity like Marriott would have already had staff attending stuff if the hotel itself is. I'm not 100% sure if the hotel is open. Do you know if the hotel is open?
They're mixed reports.
They're mixed reports.
I do believe
is the
that
casino open? Do you know?
I don't even participate, so I can't even tell you.
Okay.
I haven't been. I mean, I drive along those ends, but I haven't. I usually see barriers blocking the entrances.
Okay, right.
I cannot say that I've noticed it recently, but I dare not speculate because I haven't seen anything official.
Right, correct.
But I'm on the second train of thought I was having while you were speaking is this. The best type of long-term visitors, or let me rephrase that statement. You are more likely to get a long-term visitor as a golfer.
Of course.
If there is an active golfing fraternity on the
island. Of course, definitely.
And golf is not for... It's not. I don't like to use pejorative words, but it is not a sport where money is generally an issue for those who participate.
Right. Well, the stigma that's attached to golf is that it's a rich man's sport.
Right.
Let's talk it straight.
Right.
Right. It's that's what it's considered to be.
Right.
I know all the golfers in St Kitts. They might got a handful of rich ones. I am not one of them.
Okay. Right, but nonetheless,
right.
There's the atmosphere, because even the two tournaments, even though there were more donations and voluntary tournaments, there was never a shortage of golfers spending money on each other. The camaraderie there, the level of camaraderie there,
correct.
the level of fellowship there is such that money ain't short. For example, I could go and play with 22 men on a football field Sunday morning, and we drink a case of beers, right?
Right.
And that would be all. Maybe a case of water to go with that. If on a good day, maybe somebody's special day or something of the sort, you would get them bring 2 cases.
Right.
Yeah. Golfing, you traveling with them things in your your golf
in your
cart.
correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There are some that do that.
You have to have, especially if you can do the full 18,
The full 18.
holes, you have to have additional sustenance along the way.
I'll insert a little joke here, right? There's a really good golfer from Nevis. His name is Robert. And I heard him use this term before, which I absolutely adopted. And he referred to alcohol as swing lube. Right?
I can see that. Yeah.
So he's like, I don't play around without taking the swing lube, and yeah.
We have a caller here. Apparently we lost him, but you can feel free to call back as we're on the topic of golf. And they're back. Welcome. Good night, caller.
Good evening, guys.
Hi. And to whom are we speaking?
Very interesting program. The question we must ask, I listen to the guy there, right?
Derionne.
Virgin, you must remember. Who is there?
Derionne Flemming.
Okay. The question we need to ask ourselves when it comes to a lot of these sporting things is the people who in charge care? Is the people in charge passionate about what is happening? If you understand what I'm saying,
Definitely.
you're making the valid point. Golf is a game where a man going in the charge for himself. It's not on a contact like the football. Football opening up must be this week.
Agreed.
So the question needs to be asked, and it's the biggest problem I have with a lot of this stuff around this place. The people who are supposed to be in charge does not care. That's all. We put people in charge who does not have the passion and who care. But they're in charge. So as you're making the point, 4 seasons golf course is open, you say, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay then. So why think this golf course can open? We have local people that play golf,
Yeah.
and you have a lot of people in St Kitts that play golf. You'd be surprised.
And they're willing to pay money to go over Nevis to play.
So there's no reason for the golf course to run away. There's no reason for it to not be open. But again, when you put people who is in charge of these things, who does not really care, we keep ending up in these kind of situations. And it's simple. Sometimes people don't like when you speak because they take it the wrong way.
Right.
But these are the reality. I love cricket. You know, a man used to tell me, Cook, if I want to catch you, organize a cricket game because I'm going to come. I'm saying we need people, when it comes to a lot of stuff, is who love what they're doing, who love the sport, or love whatever. If you don't, then everything going to go downhill.
Yep, very true.
That's
And
very,
these are
very
the
true.
same people, when they come to the big competition and the big this, they're going to be in the front. But when you need them most, they're not there. You guys have a lovely night.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
Curtis, for input. So I don't like to make unnecessary assumptions without hearing the other side. And whilst what Curtis's contribution may very well be accurate, I'm going to try to do over certain you are trying is to try and see if we can reach out to the necessary people to get some feedback from them to see where their mind is at. But yes, I can see why he says though that you do need passionate people involved because it's not only speaking for golf. I mean, it speaks for all sports. I think St. Kitts is so unique in that we have more than our quota of technical expertise in all of these disciplines. Pound for pound, we boxing higher than most other countries, even in golf, per capita and everything else.
The thing is, has produced some of the best golfers in the region.
You see?
In the region, without no questions asked.
And it's for me, it's often a question of, can we now find ways and means of moving from here, because maybe from their perspective, it's a case of, listen, COVID, from a business perspective, COVID has been a body blow, and in a lot of instances, a death blow.
Right.
What you could probably picture in Marriott is at this point in time is maybe, you know, like a lizard when you knock the head, dead in essence, but the tail
still flapping,
and the golf course maybe is that tail.
I understand what you mean.
Now, is it a case where the Marriott can come back? Maybe so, and maybe that's the whole purpose of. But the question is now, how do you keep that tail wagging in as long as you possibly can, to either independently of the overall structure, in order to keep its survival, or as part of the overall structure when that time arrives?
Well, I think if you had another lizard to surgically put the tail on,
that would certainly be
that might help.
Yeah.
Because
I remember you mentioned earlier, if you get a big, but an investor is not going to just come and say, hey, let me feel sorry, or him or her is not, let me feel sorry for golf in St. Kitts and throw millions of dollars at it. They're going to be looking for a project.
Right.
They're going to be looking for something that they can see, if not return on their investment, they can see themselves making a philanthropic impact, even if it's in the game of golf on the island. So how do we make that? How do we put together? How do we form that proposal for them?
Well, what I would say to that is that, so I'll take it back a little bit.
Okay.
Prior to the Marriott taking over the golf course, it was being run by the Frick Bay Development Corporation on a whole. And that same type of project, being the Marriott, would have allowed for revamping of the golf facility, the golf course, new clubhouse, and everything. I don't know exactly where things would have gone sour.
Right.
But it is apparent that there is some sort of souring of the agreement or deal.
Relationship.
Exactly.
Okay.
What stands out to me, though, is that the name Marriott is still being used for the hotel.
Right.
And so, as we discuss this, it's not necessarily the best type of publicity for the Marriott, because that's the name we've been tossing around. I've thought about, why, Derionne, should I write a letter to Marriott to
international?
To say, such and such and such, should I write to the USGA and
see what relationship,
see what
partnership,
because I'm like, okay, I love golf. I love St. Kitts, so my action would not just be to try and, it's not just for me, it's for my country, right? It's for my other golfers.
Agreed.
It's for my children. It's for anybody that at some point in time might have the opportunity to play the wonderful game of golf. Because that's what it boils down to. What is happening, because persons aren't taking the necessary actions, is they're robbing persons of an opportunity that I had when I was growing up. So I feel like, really and truly, we look at the picture of, okay, money talks, I understand. But like, what are we taking away from our people?
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. In terms of opportunity.
Exactly. You have literally, I know of persons who play the game of golf who would be dead if not for the Royal St. Kitts Golf Club. I know a person that could call right now and confirm for me that they don't know where their lives would have been if not for the game of golf.
Right.
So for it to be looked at as, nobody just play golf. What golf you telling me about? Golf ain't important. Football is a sport. Football draws youths and keeps them busy.
Exactly.
Golf is a game. You don't know who the next great golfer is and where they're going to come from. So don't rob people of the opportunity. That's what we're looking for. Give persons the opportunity to be able to be introduced to the game. Get it into the schools. Get it as a formal program that everybody gets a chance to be
At least
immersed in, and then let
exposed.
persons make the decision for themselves.
Okay. Now,
I think if it's looked at from that avenue as well, then you kind of get the sense like, okay, we really need to do something here.
I agree. Now that there though, that there requires a comprehensive, because I am of the impression that golf requires a particular set of equipment at the very least.
Bro, if I could use colloquial terms on the radio.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
You got a set of golf clubs that you said at the start of the program you still have today that
Yeah.
you got from somebody because they gave them to you.
Agreed.
I got my first set of golf clubs because somebody gave them to me. As a junior, as a junior, until you finish your first degree, you can play golf for free.
I didn't know that. I did not.
You
know
can
that,
play.
no.
You can go from 4 years old up until you're 24, 25 and play golf over there for free.
And that has never been advertised.
Never.
Oh wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can for persons that are interested, like we've had a junior program that's been running for the longest while.
We have another caller coming in, or we lost that caller. But feel free to call back caller. But I wanted to get to in. So what about persons then who are willing to do what Malcolm would have done, Uncle Malcolm?
I could teach them.
Let's have the caller come in. Caller. Good night.
Yeah, if you're not mistaken, the golfer you was talking about, I think it's Cheryl Levine. I think he won every tournament in the Caribbean.
Regional tournament, correct.
Huh?
That's one of them.
Okay. Well, you see, so what I'm saying, but you see, that's the thing. A lot of people push
don't
golf
know.
on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
These guys has really taken it to another level.
Yep.
You go Barbados, you go Trinidad, you go all over the place. But guess what? This is one of the biggest things I find with all people here. Once you don't not too familiar with the sport, again, a lot of people does not respect certain sportsmen. I mean, this guy was a champion. These guys, all of them, I just say.
Yep.
Zeke, Trevor Levi, name them.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard Zeke's
But,
name called.
you know,
Zeke.
it's not a popular
Zeke's brother,
sport.
Raymond.
You guys have a good night.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Curtis. I know OJ.
Yeah.
He's
OJ
an avid
plays,
golfer.
yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have a pretty, in terms of St Kitts, you do have a vast.
Yeah, and the pool is the spectrum of golfers that you have. You know, you have your snowbirds who come down. You have your expats. You have your local, more affluent person. Yeah.
Caller, you can come. Go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, a good program tonight. Very interested. Because I find that it's unfair for the St Kitts Golf Association. To see, turn it down. Yeah. To see that you can't be able to
Caller,
play
I hear
golf.
an echo in your phone. Maybe if you lower your radio, it might help, or move away from it.
Yeah, that should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. To see the can't play golf in St Kitts. And it's been since last year, March, no, the 25th of last year, the golf courses have been closed. And we have members who paid membership. In spite of what joint venture they have going on, I think somebody needs to take a step. I think the country is losing too much revenue in terms of golf. For a season, golf course been open all the time, but they have the real protocol situation there.
They don't close.
They take nothing for the golf course. Here should be open. I think the government needs to step in and save the golf. I have so many friends who are not coming to St Kitts this year to buy the golf course
Not in
not
operation.
open. I just had a friend gone back to Canada. He spent 3 weeks in Santo Domingo. He's not coming to St Kitts. I mean, to the quarantine, but he want to play golf every day.
Yeah.
We have guys on the island who quarantine who have golf bags. We like to go out and play golf. We can't get a chance to play golf. And it's not fair. Every golf, you got to go to Nevis. Nevis is a beautiful golf course. We all love it because it's a federation. But St Kitts, we have a top-class course. We have a top-class course. We have one of the top-class course in the Caribbean. I play golf. I travel all over the Caribbean and play golf. And a lot of people love to play golf in St Kitts. And people are not going to come to St Kitts if they're not able to play golf. It's very important. One of the best golfers we can find in the Caribbean come from St Kitts.
Wow.
And we have good golfers in St Kitts. We name them Trevor Levi, Zeke Percival, Raymond, Adrian Norfolk, Charles Blake, Derionne, and we're going on and on. And golf's going to go in St Kitts, especially right now, because it's a non-contact sport.
Yeah.
And I think we need to open up, because so many people right now want to play golf. We don't have a chance. We have to go out there and walk and play golf at mornings with a golf bag and golf carts flapping at the golf shop. And it's unfair. People need work. You understand? I have been working since March.
Okay.
I got a break in Nevis a couple of weeks, maybe almost a month now, to teach golf at Four Seasons. And I started to go to Four Seasons because I had a clinic over there, another whole week over there teaching golf.
Wow.
And the people from overseas who come to the hotel, who come to Four Seasons, stay there. And so they had a clinic and they wanted somebody. So they called on Percival, and Percival get in contact with me. So I teach golf at times. So I get over and everything was really, really, really nice. Everybody, they appreciate everything, you know. And in the near future, I love to do it again,
Yeah.
you know. But I love teaching golf, and I think the golf was need to open. And I have so many friends right now who are into golf and really want to get out there to play golf. So in the near future, I'm looking at the golf course open this month, and I'm looking no further than this month. But I don't know what's going to happen. But we need to put our hands together, and we got to play a little hard ball or something and get the golf course open. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good night.
You enjoy your night. Thank you very much for your
right, boss.
contribution. And we do hope that persons whom do have some level of input has been tuned in or have been notified of our discussion tonight, because it seems as if there are a lot of persons whom are suffering in silence as well. Because he's saying since March 28th, that's hard. That's
really
hard.
hard. Trust me.
That's tough, you know. Yeah.
I mean, if I may, Ken, for me, typically in a year, I might play 40, 50 rounds of golf.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe less than 10 last year.
Yeah.
Less than 10.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
That's just me. What is to be said for the expats who don't have work to do? You know what I'm saying? You're talking about some seniors who that's their only means of, like Rock mentioned, a non-contact sport that people can go out and enjoy.
And it's to me, I fully believe it's lost revenue, because, like he said, I am convinced that people will come, especially knowing that we have such a good track record on COVID and managing COVID.
Exactly.
For all the other,
Exactly. It places us at a point of attraction.
exactly, more so than any other golf course
Probably in the region.
in the region.
Yep.
You know, as long as that entire system is managed,
Properly.
continue to be managed properly
It's
the
a
way in which it
viable
is.
opportunity.
It's a viable opportunity for tourism and golf tourism.
Exactly.
Sports tourism, as we've been talking about it.
One of the points that we've tried to highlight to the powers that be, I think we mentioned it on past radio programs, is who comes to St. Kitts to go on the strip?
Very few people.
Who comes to St. Kitts just to go see Brimstone Hill? Who comes to St. Kitts
Cruise shippers.
just to go to see Carabel Batik?
Cruise shippers.
Who will come to St. Kitts just to play golf?
Many. And those are long-term stay.
And this is the point.
What's in a
How
tournament?
do you because it is literally a way to attract persons to come. Yes, it might lose you some dollars, but what you do as a means of catchment is you create, it's literally in the center of the main breadbasket in St. Kitts. Nowhere else in St. Kitts does money get generated or spent other than Frigate Bay.
Agreed.
Come on. Like, what's happened is that I don't think people pay attention to, not to point fingers, but I don't know that the Ministry of Tourism actually has data that charts or tracks who comes to St. Kitts to play golf or who comes to St Kitts and plays golf
Oh,
while
that's
they're here,
That's an interesting.
or who comes to St Kitts just because there is a golf course here. I don't know that they track how many. Like, for one of the things that happens at Four Seasons very often is that corporate entities literally buy out the hotel for, it might be a weekend or whatever.
For retreats,
They're flying on the
which
whole
include
staff.
golf.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Right?
could see that. And I was even, my brain is going and going, but we're out of time.
Oh, yeah.
I was even thinking, though, of you could host a golf tournament or something, you could easily host in a bubble.
Of course.
Easily host in a bubble.
Yep.
Manage the amount of persons allowed on the course,
Correct.
managing the viewership, and obviously you're better able to record and see what's going on, put certain things in place. But a golf tournament, I'm almost certain would be easier to be managed
Definitely. Than
in a bubble than any other type sport
correct.
that involves a lot more contact. So hopefully some of the persons who are listening would be able to offer more ideas, offer
Right.
more support. Thanks for coming, and I'm certain that
Not
this
a
again.
problem.
I know initially we wanted to have Zeke on, and maybe stemming from this
follow-up,
we could
yeah.
follow up and have some discussions, get a bit more on the history, get a little bit more about his perspective
Definitely.
on sports, because it's good to get those.
Zeke is probably the biggest golf historian in St. Kitts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
so
know,
he's a
it'd be good
critical person to have on
good to
board.
pick his brain
Yeah,
and then
for
to
sure,
get
for
some,
sure.
because it's a bit nostalgic as well for some of the folks like yourself.
Yep,
So thanks for being here. Thanks to the listeners and the callers that called in. We value your contribution. And again, thanks for sharing the last hour or so with us at the bench meeting. We hope that it's been as beneficial to you as it has been to us. And we look forward to hearing you again next week, Monday, same time, same place on the bench. Thanks again.
Thank
Derek.
you. Thanks.
The players, why they ban these people, this country is a big disgrace.